Om. Gayatri Mahamantra. With your back straight, both hands upon your laps, left beneath the right, with your eyes closed, join me in togetherness. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. With an invocation of the Divine Master within, in the form of a remembrance, we start upon a series under the title of Saturday Sattva. And the first series that we embark upon is Vedamata, Gayatri Mahamantra. Before we touch upon certain esoteric aspects of this Mahamantra, I would like to initiate upon the direct application part of it. How does Gayatri Mahamantra impact my present life within a short period of time? That is something which anybody, any common mind, would be more interested to learn. Yes, of course, there are esoteric aspects, the science of Gayatri, bestowed upon us by our great ancient masters. For that too, there are many seekers who have a deep interest. But for any common mind, the deep esoteric aspects may not interest much. But yes, the deliverable with all immediacy to one's life holds adequate interest to anyone. So without going here or there, which we shall certainly go later on, I come upon the direct outcome of Gayatri Mahamantra. The seeker, if practices Gayatri Mahamantra as one's sadhana, in the form of incantation, japa, the foremost advantage one would gather within few days is the self-confidence. Yes, self-confidence is something which is the foremost that you can gather by the practice of Gayatri Mahamantra within few days. And there is nothing to lose upon that. Anyone could anytime start upon that practice following certain prescription, not much of an intricacy involved, and could easily unravel before one's own self the benefits that one can draw. Yes, of course, people have a special allurement towards miracles, but the foremost miracle that I consider is that the one which transpires within our own awareness. And self-confidence is a miracle that transpires within our own awareness by the help of Gayatri Mahamantra within few days. Why do I mention the period of time as within few days? For a reason that it is obvious that any practitioner of Gayatri Mahamantra, starting with the minimal amount of sadhana, even can find and observe before oneself the kind of self-confidence that is rising in comparison to what it was before one embarked upon this sadhana. So this is the foremost miracle which I say is a tangible experience in one's own awareness. Tangible not in the terms of sensorial drivers to touch, etc., but tangible enough to experience within without any denial. So, Gayatri Mahamantra bestows upon you the foremost advantage of self-confidence. There are people in this world You can count them even one by one, ranging from number 1 to 600 million plus, who seek self confidence, unknowingly confront the problems arising out of lack of self confidence. Even the most confident ones do seek a self approval for any kind of decision that they conclude. Those who may project themselves as robust, strong enough, even they find themselves suspended during those moments when they have to ultimately take a crucial decision upon a vital subject or situation of life. Those are the moments when outwardly they may not project, but inside, even they seek a self approval, and seeking self approval automatically means that there is somewhere an element of confidence dwindling to a certain extent. The advantage of having self confidence is that one can embark upon decisions in life without wasting much of time looking here and there. With reasonable application of your mind, taking things into consideration, one can take an initiative and start upon, which otherwise people go on delaying, go on procrastinating without any reasonable logic. They may make excuses, this or that, for other people to satisfy or to gratify themselves for the procrastination, but within themselves there is a hollow aspect which very well knows that we are not self confident. There is another problem which is very well handled when the levels of self confidence are rising within a human. What is that? Outwardly, we project ourselves with the help of our superimposed ego in order to assert and make others understand that we are right, we have not done anything wrong, and come what may, even for small situations, we project our robust aspect by superimposing our superficial ego. That furthers many problems to our life. We may project that ego in the safeguard of our so called dignity, but in fact, we invite many problems which otherwise come and then infringe into the harmony of our life. So, by the Gayatri Mahamantra sadhana, the moment the self confidence starts rising, there is a silent power that morphs into your own existence, and then you feel within yourself that it is needless for you to unnecessarily project yourself by superimposing an artificial sense of ego for no reason. Rather, you will find yourself contented enough and not seeking yourself as a presence in the eyes of people outward, but inward you shall be much more composed and in control and harmonized. My words are not the words that come out of any book as a subject of any reading or just to profess something to you. Whatever I'm saying is an experience. It's a first hand experience of my own life after practicing Gayatri for decades now. More than, yes, I can say more than 4 decades now. And also an experience through thousands of people. Yes, the number goes now into thousands, not thousands, who probably were initiated into Gayatri, not by me, but by themselves, and they started practicing Gayatri Mahamantra, and this is how they started benefiting. The problems don't end in your life, the problems remain, but there is a change into you, the one who manages, observes, and conducts different subject situation and also with the people outside. So there is a change within you. Outwardly or in the aspects of the problems, they remain as they are. You change. When you change, obviously the impacts they otherwise could accrue upon you also alters. The intensity undergoes a change. Then, by the sadhana of Gayatri, the impurities upon our self illuminated spark within, that we term as Atma, though not experienced directly, but yet one cannot give it a blanket denial that I am not a consciousness, I am merely a matter. No, you cannot. That much aspect is probably known to the most of the people who have somehow now been able to transcend into the domain of spirituality or wellness. They are consciousness, they know. Where is consciousness? How is consciousness? Leave aside all those aspects that can be left for some future where we can embark upon it as a different subject. For the timing, let us understand, which is more prominent right now, the soot, the thick soot, the coating, the contamination which is cast upon the self illuminated spark, Atma, that obstructs its luminosity, its radiance to project itself out. That leads to different kind of delusions and illusions. Both are different. Delusion and illusions that act as a diffracted vision before us, and we experience things very differently than as they should be understood in our own life, be it situation, subject, or even people. And it is all because of the contamination upon that self illuminated radiance within ourselves. Gayatri Mahamantra, the energy which is generated by the propitiation incantation of this mantra within, it incinerates those impurities. Not all of them can go immediately because there is enough of a baggage that has been brought forward to this life from past countless lives in the form of propensities, different kind of propensities that further and trigger our impulsive instinctive responses, and also the experiences that we have gathered and accumulated in this present life. They come and they form a tendency to respond to subject situations in our life in a particular manner, and we then experience the outcome of those decisions or responses accordingly. So, Gayatri, the energy of Gayatri not only raises the level of self confidence within us, at the same time, it incinerates several impurities. By way, what happens is that more of our energy resource is then made available to our different mental faculties. Thinking, imagining, contemplating, recalling past memory, all these are the subjects of awareness. And whatever energy is available to the faculties is then afforded to the awareness to conduct its business. If the reservoir of energy is already being consumed by issues which are primarily not of much concern, something that has got the least importance to our life but devours or swallows a creative resource of energy, it is relinquished from there and then apportioned to the reasonable faculties of mind for reasonable thinking, imagining well with clarity, and also to contemplate with the balanced state of mind. All this starts happening. It may take a while. It may not happen that soon in comparison to the self confidence that you can experience in your life after the Gayatri Sadhana within few days. I have mentioned these two foremost benefits. One, that you can benefit after the sadhana, the practice of Gayatri within few days. And the second one is the incineration of several impurities that shall take a while, and it's a process which is almost ongoing one, which will not cease to work or cease to exist or cease to prevail within few days. That will continue for even years to come. But you will start experiencing that this was not me earlier, this was not it earlier within me, it is now totally different. There has been a mutation within me, my awareness. Consciousness does not mutate, but within our awareness, we see several mutations undergone. So you'll see and experience a different mutation within yourself, whereby the levels of awareness now experience a broader and more expansive dimension that will all ultimately help your own understanding towards different situation, subjects, and people of the life. Now, coming down with these two foremost advantages, and without making a mention to a large number of benefits that a seeker can gather by the practice of Gayatri, leave aside all of them. Start with these foremost two, which are going to project their outcome in your life quite soon. One is relatively going to take some time before it surfaces before you as you evolve. But the first one, which I undertook as a self confidence, something which you will start experiencing immediately. How should I start practicing Gayatri? Gayatri Mahamantra. The foremost thing is to learn the pronunciation of the Mahamantra, and which is not very difficult. The pronunciation of the mantra can be easily learned. Now, today, you have your handheld device with you. It has Gayatri Mahamantra recorded in the form of videos all over. This is flooded on even on the social media. So you can find any one of them. Most of them, as I find, the pronunciation is proper. I find most of them it is proper. Still, if you really want to know about that, I can chant one Gayatri Mahamantra before you so that you can recollect and associate. Although I would suggest that you better associate with several other available just for the sake of getting and gathering the right kind of a pronunciation. You can feel the text before you, observe the text before you, and even you can go on reading in a loud voice. Although speaking in loud voice does not count as the practice of Gayatri Mahamantra because it is not the japa. It is uchcharan. You're pronouncing it, you're chanting it. It's not incantation. But yet, for the sake of learning the right pronunciation, that helps. Let me chant one Gayatri Mahamantra before you so that you can associate and come close to its understanding. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Once again. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Now, having said that, now comes how do I practice Gayatri in my normal, ordinary day routine. Foremost, you should always practice Gayatri Mahamantra. Practice we term as sadhana. So when I say sadhana in Hindi or Sanskrit, understand it as a synonym to practice. So Gayatri Sadhana is Gayatri practice. Having understood that, foremost is to take the bath first. Gayatri Sadhana not to be done without bath. So take a bath, sit down. Now, how do you sit down? Sit down in the comfortable posture and upon an asan, a spread of a cloth beneath. If you have any kind of a medical problem, you may choose to sit upon a sofa or a chair. Otherwise, if it is comfortable for you, then prefer to sit down upon the floor. Remember, you need not incline with the wall. Your back has to be straight. If at all you're sitting beside a wall, there has to be some kind of a projection within you and the wall in the form of a pillow or something, but you should not be directly touching with the wall. Sit upon the asan in a comfortable posture which does not create any kind of inconvenience to you, so that your mind detracts towards the body. So let and allow your body to be in the most comfortable posture. Sit down. Your back must be straight. The mandatory aspect is back must be straight. Your back has to be straight, so that when you start your Gayatri Sadhana, your practice of Gayatri, the incantation of that mantra within is going to generate energy, prana, and that prana must acquire ascension. It should move upwards, and for that matter, the back has always to remain straight. That is very important. There are things that can be compromised, but you cannot compromise your back. It must be straight. Comfortably place both hands upon your laps, left beneath the right, and if at all you feel more comfortable to place your palms upon your knees, even that will be appropriate initially. So sit in that comfortable posture. Now comes that if I sit in the comfortable posture, where should I face? Advisably, it is better that if you're facing towards the rising sun. For example, you may say that I have a washroom towards the rising sun and I feel a displeasure to face towards that side. What should I do? Then you can face towards the north. And you say, no, even towards the north, I have something which is an irritant aspect to me. Okay, if that be so, then you face towards any given side, does not matter. I said advisably, but that does not matter, that if you do not have an appropriate direction to face, that should become an excuse for you not to start the practice. So leave excuses, excuses be gone. Start practicing. If possible, towards the rising sun, not possible towards the north, not possible, then whatever direction is available to you that comforts you most, sit in that. Do not worry, you're not going to lose much for that matter. Now, once you face towards that, the next thing comes is, how do I count my mantra? Yes, you can take the help of the rosary, the jap mala. No, I am not very much comfortable with the rosary. I am just going to start to sit and practice this sadhana. I may not be able to handle the rosary. Yes, in fact, yes, does not matter at all. If you cannot handle the rosary, you should not bother at all. You can simply start your japa, your incantation. Now, when I say japa, it to be understood as incantation. Now, you can start your japa, your Gayatri sadhana, even by the clock. You can take the clock before you, place the clock before you as the mobile phone or whatever that gives you an information about the time. And then by the consideration of time, you can start practicing your Gayatri Mahamantra. The minimum amount of Gayatri Mahamantra, amount means the number. The minimum number of the mantra that you should be propitiating, you should be incantate, the incantation has to be 108, 108. That draws a conclusive number of 9. So 108. So what you can do is, you can simply take a stock and estimate of how much time does it take for you to complete 108 mantra. Initially, people who are not much proficient, those do not have much practice about Gayatri, they may take around 8 to 10 minutes to complete 108, mantra. They may take that much of time. So you can set your timer or your clock by 10 minutes and then sit down. Forget about that. If the number somehow fell short of two mantras or three, does not matter. Count that as 100. Let the number be 108, but within yourself, you may inform yourself that it was 100 for me. So it is like practicing 108 but considering 100. So nothing to lose. So do not allow your distraction to anyway hold any kind of an apprehension that whether I was able to do 108 or not. No, you should relieve your awareness from all such unnecessary entanglements and settle much before you sit for your sadhana. Now, when you sit for your sadhana, what you have to do is must take a small utensil of water, patra, so utensil of water, like a small bowl of water with a spoon in it. And the foremost thing you have to go to do is you take that water in your left hand and cover it with the right, and then imagine, contemplate. What should I contemplate? Is it necessary? Initially, I will do only with this small ritual. Later on, we can add more rituals to that. Around 5 to 6 more rituals can be added. But initially, this is enough to start with, not to allow yourself to get into much of labyrinths. So, this ritual is enough. Cover your left hand with the right one and then contemplate. Contemplate upon whom? If you can contemplate upon the deity of the entire preservation who holds responsibility of preservation, maintenance of this cosmos is Narayan Vishnu. If you say that I have some problems, I cannot contemplate on Narayan, okay, doesn't matter. Can you contemplate on light? Yes, on light. Or you may say, I can contemplate upon my specific idol, which is Hanumanji, Durga, or whatever. Does not matter. Whomsoever you can hold ground easily should be there in your contemplation at that moment of time. Invoke their divine radiance within this water, which is now covered by your right hand, and say to it, come, charge this water by thou divine energy. Just say that. I am not aware. You have to repeat this within yourself at the end of an emotion, a feel. Not necessary for you to conduct this ritual with some mantra. You simply have to experience a feel within yourself. Say to that energy, I'm not aware whether I'm pure or impure. I'm unaware to that. Absolutely oblivion to that. Whatever is my state, I don't know. But charge this water to such an extent that when I sprinkle it upon me, I become pure mentally, physically, to all members within my own awareness, so that I can offer myself for this divine experiment of Gayatri Sadhana. Say that, remove your right hand and sprinkle that water upon yourself, and that's done. That's done. And even in Sanskrit, when we chant that mantra, we truly say the same thing in that language. There is nothing else that is conveyed. It is conveyed directly to the Narayana that we are not aware in what state are we at this moment, whether pure, impure, the mind is scattered and fragmented into countless avenues. What was I thinking? What was I recalling? What was I imagining? Was good or bad? Forget about all that. Our awareness is assigned to all unmindful voyage at any given point of time. So forget about that. Gather yourself, bring yourself to this moment, conduct this ritual, sprinkle the water upon you, and there you are ready now before the divine radiance to start your practice. Now, how do I start practicing? See, your primary objective is to do Gayatri Sadhna by Gayatri Japa. Japa means that you do not deploy any instrument that manufactures the word. How do you manufacture word? By the help of your teeth, your lips, your tongue, your entire passage of the mouth, throat, everything connives, collaborates to manufacture any word in its gross form. Right? Good. In japa, you deploy none of them. None. So what do? You silently observe the mantra within your head. Silently observe the mantra within your head and release it to the cosmos through Brahmarandra. Okay, but I'm new. I may not be proficient enough to do all that silently. How do I do? I'll have certain kind of apprehensions about whether I was able to rightly pronounce the mantra or not, whether I missed one of the words in between or something or the other kind. I mean, that may not be that easy for me to silently do that. No. Yes, understood. Initially, it is the same with all of us. So, how do we begin then? No problem. Within few days, we'll be on to the japa. But initially, what we do is doesn't matter with the rosary or without rosary. That is japmala. Sit down and then start murmuring the mantra in such a manner that even if someone is sitting right beside you, is not able to gather what you are chanting. Like now, someone sitting right beside me shall be able to gather I am murmuring something, but may not be able to gather what exactly am I murmuring. What are those words? Because those words, to a great extent, are confined within my lips itself. I'm deploying all instruments that manufacture word in order to facilitate me to become more proficient with the pronunciation of the mantra within. Let it continue for a few days. When you understand within yourself that, yes, I have now become proficient enough that I'm confident, yes, I don't miss a word, and I go on practicing it. Okay. Now, second thing is what? Second thing is now, instead of murmuring it outside, now what you're going to do is you are going to close your lips up, lock your lips, but allow your tongue and other instrument, those who can work or they can become active to whatever extent, deploy them to construct the word and start chanting Gayatri Mahamantra within. How? It's moving. Yes, it's moving. But lips are locked. Lips are locked, but it is moving. Yes, that's the second level. After a few days, when you find that now I am well proficient with that, that may take a while. It may take a while. Remember that. Then you come down to the third level where now you finally plunge towards the japa, silent one. Just close your lips, nothing moves. Does it happen? Why doesn't it happen? How do you conduct your brain chatting? Your brain chatting throughout the day happens through the same mode. When it comes with some displeasure towards someone else, and you have to convey some sort of an acrimony which otherwise you cannot say outwardly. Maybe you want to abuse someone, say a harsh word or some signage which is really not easy for you to say it outwardly. What do? You conduct that entire mental activity by deploying words within, but everything happens silently. I'll see to him. He's a bugger. He's not the right person I should be talking with. It happens. We do this brain chatting within ourselves most of the day. It goes on happening unnoticed, unnoticed. So the same thing has to be deployed for what? For a higher practice of our evolution now at the end of our awareness. So take time for that. Do not rush for that matter, that you have to rush for that lip locked incantation. Give yourself some time, doesn't matter. Take your time. Once you become proficient, then go on. And you may even do that. What? Say, for example, if you are performing 108 mantras, or for example, 10 minutes of sadhana, divide that into three portions: 3 minute, 3 minute, 3 minute. 3 minutes murmuring, 3 minutes, and 3 minutes, last of the 3 minute, silently. Don't do it at the outset. Allow yourself, give yourself time for few days to first become associated with the chanting of the mantra, its movement within you. Become little proficient for that. Get attuned to that. Then you can come down to even this split of the time into 3 minutes, or even you can divide your rosary also into three parts, whatever, two parts, whatever suits you. I'm giving you an option so that it becomes easy at your end in order to practice this Gayatri Japa. But don't allow yourself with any kind of excuses. Now, the water that you deployed initially, after you are done with that japa, that water is charged now. Consume it, that charged water, as a charna mrit. Charna mrit, that we call it, something which has now become an elixir after the touch of the divine energy. It was an energy, we were practicing divine energy, invocation of energy. So it is charged. Drink it, that becomes a holy water. And for those who want to offer water as an oblation to the sun, then they should keep a different utensil. There are certain sadhaks who may like to offer water to sun as an oblation, that we call as Ans.The. To them, they have to separately deploy a second utensil. Otherwise, one is enough initially for you, simply to charge it for drinking later on as a holy water, charged water, and initially to sprinkle the water upon yourself. We term it as pavitrikaranam, for purification, for the purpose of purification. So now I have shared with you the initials of this sadhana. I am certainly going to remain associated through Saturday's Sattva. This series is going to prolong to how many episodes? I'm not sure about that. Maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe more than that. But this series shall certainly continue. If you have any questions in this regard in your mind and you want to ask them, then you may seek a resolve upon that, which I will try to answer within my limited capacities by email alone. I, under the blissful presence and the realms of my Divine Master, shall try to reply to you. My email ID is info at the rate Dineshji, DINESHJI, Jalandhar, India, JI, dineshji.com. So write to me by the mail. I shall try to reply you within my available capacities. Till next week, for the next series of Gayatri, mystical Gayatri Mahamantra under Saturday's Sattva. Till then, Om ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है, ओम ही सत्य है.